So Alex Karp just went on stage and left the entire audience speechless. Check it out.
I am not a legislator, but I am running one of the coolest companies in the world. And I'm telling young people, you are breathing the vapors of a dangerous, new, fake, and self-destructive religion when you are sitting at your elite school pretending because you watched TikTok twice and got an A+ on some crazy paper because your professor couldn't get a job anywhere else, that you actually understand the world. And you're not welcome at my company.
And then he said this.
It's like the polls are very good, but we in corporate America, we who are running publicly traded companies, are an abysmal failure at standing up to people who are anti-American, who are breathing the vapors of a thin new religion at elite schools, who actually believe it would be better to have the world run by China than by America, and we're silent.
And then he actually said this.
As far as I can tell, there are only 3 companies that have been publicly pro-Israel on October 7th. There's Booz Allen, sometimes we disagree with him, there's Anduril, and there's Palantir. 3 companies. We have to do better. And that's not a problem with the politicians. Of course the politicians don't do enough. The corporate elite of this country thinks when it's time to make money, you stand up. And when it's time to stand up, you go play golf. And we got to change that.
And if that wasn't enough, he also said this.
There were, unfortunately, way too many people on October 7th who were happy. And we have to acknowledge we have a huge problem in the Western world with anti-Semitism. And we cannot, not all criticism of Israel is anti-Semitism, but a larger portion of it is than we realized. Again, most Americans who are not at elite institutions see this battle for what it is. You see a one side which is powered by terrorism, that is using terrorist means, and that will expand its footprint to the West if it's not pushed back.
Now, what Alex Karp is talking about is very simple. When we were kids, our parents would not tell us about how bad of a cesspool the world they brought us into really is. The crime, the murders, the rapes, the violence, all of this is spared from us as kids. We get this illusion, this fantasy that the world is this beautiful place where everybody lives in harmony. And as long as our parents can keep this fantasy going as long as possible, that fantasy remains our universe, our reality. But at some point, we grow up and we understand how screwed up the world we're living in. And in this little clip, what I think Alex Karp is telling you is that, look, a lot of these college students, a lot of this new generation is still living in this la-la land, denial, fantasy bubble in which they refuse to recognize the harsh realities of the world we live in. Now, the fact of the matter is that created a whole scenario in which corporate America is now playing ball and fully cooperating with anti-American actions. All of these ideas have now made their way into the mainstream media, into the woke mindset, into the campuses, under the guise of, oh yeah, that's just the new way of thinking about things. Multipolar world, let's all coexist. The United States should not be the strongest country in the world. We need to weaken the United States so that we all can play as equals. Now, the sad part about what Alex Karp is talking about, and I absolutely love what he said, and I want to tell you something here, that I think he is on par with Elon Musk. A few days ago, we heard Elon Musk do the same thing, where he said, look, if you want to boycott me because of standing up for free speech, for being true to my beliefs, I'm not going to sell out. I'd rather close the platform and stand for what I believe in. So you can go F yourself. That's what he said to Bob Iger from Disney and all these other woke mind virus players who are advertising on TikTok, the Chinese propaganda platform, and not on X. I'm not here to say that X is perfect. I'm just saying that there's very few people left in this world who are so true to their beliefs that they're willing to lose money and willing to lose political correctness to be honest about the realities that we're living in. And by no accident, my biggest 2 possessions, my biggest 2 stocks is Palantir and Tesla. It's no accident that Elon Musk and Alex Karp have came out in a spread of a week and basically did the same thing. Told the rest of the people who are trying to bully them into thinking a certain way, go fuck yourself. And I admire that and I appreciate that. And people with balls is something I respect. And look, Alex Karp is going to lose a lot of fans by calling out these students. And Elon Musk is going to lose a lot of advertisers by saying that he's not going to play ball. But at the end of the day, he's going to gain a lot of new followers, a lot of new people who believe in what he's saying, who's loyal to this idea, and who are 100% behind the idea of America first, and then Russia, China, Iran second. And they're not going to be playing ball with this stuff. Now, I completely agree with what he's saying. Look, at the end of the day, what happened on October 7th in Israel is a tragedy, is a massacre of unthinkable proportions. And to see Western society on TikTok or on other social media somewhat celebrating, promoting, justifying that is just evidence of how deep this virus of anti-American, anti-Western culture have gone into our society. You remember how a few weeks ago the trend on TikTok was how the Bin Laden letter against America before the 9/11 attacks have basically opened their minds into what's really going on? I mean, these are the fuck-ups we have to deal with. Sorry. I know Alex Karp didn't go that far and didn't say, well, these are the fuck-ups. But I'm saying it. These are the fuck-ups we have to deal with. Now, look, at the end of the day, what we thought was a legitimate, a kind of anti-Israeli stance by a lot of people, I think October 7th and the war in Israel right now have basically exposed there's a little bit more anti-Semitic driven than what we initially thought. They're using the anti-Semitic undercurrents in the Western culture, which they do exist, in order to indoctrinate these people into their way of thinking. And this is what Alex Karp is fighting for. I mean, the idea is like, oh yeah, you're going to get your nice little life in Europe back. There's not going to be any more stabbings or, we're not going to do horrible things to your country if you just let us have Israel. That's obviously a lie because these guys, the Muslim Brotherhood, the Islamists, they have no respect, not for the Western way of life and not for the Western borders. They see all these borders, all these countries, European countries, all of them have been drawn on a map by a white person, and these maps are meaningless. ISIS was not an accident. President Erdogan from Turkey, who is a member of NATO member, was standing on stage a month ago saying that Turkey will regain control one day of all the Ottoman Empire lands. Now, obviously, that was a bunch of horse manure because this mother lover can't even pay for food for his own people and his economy is collapsing. But the idea here, you have to understand that this expansionist mindset is not on the Western side. It's on the other side. And this is just the start. I think that the idea here is, look, Israel is one battleground where this fight has begun, but it's not going to be the last. Alex Karp is trying to wake people up and tell them, look, Israel is just the first place. It's a proxy war, which is happening right now between the US and China, Russia, Iran, but it's going to happen in multiple other places. And if you're going to support the other guys, just understand that you're literally cutting off the branch on which you're sitting on. So if you want to be a useful idiot, go right ahead. You're being used. It's the same idea. It's like, when the aliens invade and they take over humanity, which humans are going to volunteer to help them? These are the same people. Another thing he said, which I absolutely love, is this whole idea of multipolar world is an absolute Russian propaganda. They're pushing for this, let's all be equals. At one table. Russia does not want equal. China does not want equal. They want dominance. So they want to bring down the US so they can dominate. Nobody wants equal. And they're preaching all this crap to these kids who don't understand better. They don't understand this is literally jailhouse rules, and the strong dominate and the weak get dominated into submission. They don't understand that they're being used. And Karp is saying, look, if you don't get it, if you don't understand, I don't want you in my company because my company is fighting for the future of the Western world. Could not agree more. Now look, hearing Karp speak made me proud of being an investor in Palantir, just as much as hearing Elon Musk speak made me proud of being a Tesla investor just about a week ago. I think Karp is an actual fucking legend. And I love the fact that him and Elon have chosen their morals over money and selling out. Peace out.